dude.
I'm starting the show. The show is now this one.
It's okay. It's finally here.
The culture war in me.
Yes.
Now, Joey doesn't like this one, but I am going to do Hollywood Once a Symbol.
You know,
Hollywood, once a proud symbol of pro-American ideals and noble storytelling, has undergone a stark transformation. What was once a hub celebrating rugged individualism, family values, and the American spirit has been overtaken by culturally captured progressives. These ideologues aren't satisfied with merely eroding traditional American values. They appear determined to dismantle the foundations of Western civilization itself. These individuals are master manipulators and controllers, a fact that becomes clear when you examine modern Hollywood output. Pick any recent film, whether a blockbuster or an indie project, and you'll find narratives that twist history and morality to fit a specific agenda. Look at the Hollywood blacklist era. American communists bankrolled by the Soviet Union, handed over critical military secrets during the Cold War and actively working to destabilize the nation. Yet today, these betrayers are portrayed as innocent victims, their actions glossed over by a sympathetic cultural elite. Through a cultural Marxist lens, Hollywood now distorts issues like race, crafting stories that divide rather than unite. Far removed from the tales of resilience and common purpose that once defined its golden age, when the internet gave the free world a chance to push back against this skewed narrative, progressive groups sprang into action. Organizations bent on control moved swiftly to clamp down on the information superhighway, silencing dissenting voices. Elon Musk has stepped up as a modern champion, striving to keep platforms like X open for honest discourse, but even he faces constraints bound by legal and societal pressures. What's desperately needed now is a group of resolute, principled men and women, people with the clarity and strength to stand firm. These ideological bullies, armed with their distorted worldview, won't retreat easily. It's time for a new wave of courageous individuals to rise, reject manipulation, and restore the cultural integrity Hollywood once embodied.
Yep, still snoring.
Snoring all you want. Now, I am involved a little bit too hard in the old culture war, calling people scumbags and dirtbags.
What good does it do?
I could say it makes me feel better, and it does.
Just like those sugar-free candies, I bet.
Yeah, they're. You know what? It's all an illusion.
No. What happens after eating sugar-free candies is not an illusion. It's really happened.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on one moment. I've got a call.
Mirnan is on the line. But, yeah, it makes me feel good. And basically, arguing with these buffoons on Twitter releases something in me. And it's not good. It's not healthy. But I do it anyway. And it's kind of like when I used to drink 2 liters of diet soda. It was 2 liters of diet soda.
Yes, you did. I can confirm that. I used to see those 2-liter bottles all over your floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I would drink 2-liter bottles of 7-Up, diet 7-Up. And yeah, it did not lower my blood sugar in any way. And now I'm off that stuff. I drink a lot of water. I drink iced tea, and I can fast for a day. I cannot fast yet for 2. I'm still working on that. And I think I will be able to start fasting 2 days in a row. But remains to be seen, and it will happen. And I will be a disciplined man. And that's what I'm striving for, is to be a disciplined man. Because again, we're fighting against I am resisting against a very egocentric, self-centered group of people who are culturally captured, bent on bent on changing society and, in my opinion, destroying Western civilization with their morals. And he left the room. He left the room, and I do not know why he left. Because I didn't see him leave. I was on Twitter, so I didn't see him leave. So I'm going to play a quick song, and then, because I want to find out what happened to my partner. This is why I fast. Breathe in and breathe out.
Today I fast, not just as a personal act, but as a stand against a culture being overrun by egocentric parasites. These predators feed on our weaknesses, masking their selfishness with empty ideals while eroding the foundations of our world. I fast to forge my resolve, to harden my spirit against their temptations and threats, their spite, their viciousness. It crumbles before the iron will and unwavering determination I build through this sacrifice. The devil could heap a banquet in my path, but I'd walk past it, for man does not live by bread alone, but by the truth that pierces their illusions. The progressive left, armed with their tangle of lies, seeks to tear down Western values, liberty, heritage, integrity, while cloaking their assault in the garb of progress. Sometimes they even hijack patriotic Western rhetoric, a sly ruse to blind you to their real aim. Don't fall for it. Whether they're consumed by Trump derangement syndrome or Musk derangement syndrome, these people aren't guided by reason. Hypocrisy runs through them like a vein of rot, yet their cunning as con artists adept at concealing their motives. They'll enlist others, people who talk and dress like conservatives, to peddle their cause, turning them into tools of betrayal. These are the wolves in sheep's clothing we've been warned about, polished on the surface but feral beneath. Today, I see the trap they set. Egocentric monsters like these always blend truth into their lies. It's their trick, a fog to disorient you. They'll dangle a shred of honesty to lure you in and bind you to their schemes. But I fast to rise above the haze. Hunger clears my vision, strips away their noise, and roots me in what's real. Let them plot and growl, my resolve stands like stone. They can't sway me with their tainted offerings or break me with their empty bluster. This is my defiance, my armor, my declaration that their dominion stops when my will takes hold.
Yes. When my will takes hold. And there are a lot of people out there, including myself, that do not have the proper will to resist.
Yes.
Not enough yet. And win or lose. Mirnan.
Mirnan.
Yes. So, I found out that did my taxes today, and I have to pay a little more than I usually thought. And I am just striving to kind of wake up. I'm a little bit tired, so the show may end a little sooner than normal because I'm feeling tired. But how do I properly resist the culture war? Things are changing, and things really changed during 2020. Things were starting to change right after Trump got in the White House. The far left went berserk. They started the cancel culture, and they started their control of social media. And I believe the group most responsible for that is the ADL. There were other groups, but one group, as far as my investigation goes, was premier in allowing that to happen. And a lot of people ignore that. I don't know why. Perhaps they have power to do harm, and people are afraid to expose them for who they are. And braveness is needed if you're going to win. But also, the American dream, owning a home and owning a property, at least where I live in Southern California, is no longer available for the average working man and woman. Go ahead.
All right. What are you so angry about?
What angers me is the lack of freedom of speech on the internet that used to be the Wild West, and the lack of transparency on our social media platforms. I know that they are a private company and they can do what they want, but in my opinion, there have been nonprofits, progressive nonprofits, that basically took this over, and they took over much of the establishment. And my biggest problem, by the way, is not with the left, it's with other people who see what the left is doing. And
It sounds like you're having a Biden moment. I didn't want to say that.
a Biden, well, maybe, I am tired, but I'm not necessarily having a Biden moment. I'm just seeing, things as they are, and this is kind of just me mapping out my strategy and mapping out my feelings, because not too many people listen to this show. So
I disagree. I think that there's quite a few people who end up listening to it. In fact, if 2 people listen to it, it's more than I expected in the first place some nights.
Well, that's
Most
true.
nights.
That's true. And at the same token, dude, I wish we could open it up more to more people, just so people could just listen. If they wanted to come on and talk, they can certainly do that. I'm certainly willing to hear from people, because I have my perspective on things, and I believe that I am correct. Now, the movie Snow White has come out, and it is doing I think it's doing disastered business. And I think the film industry itself is listening too much to activists. The same thing with politicians. They're listening too much to activists and not to rational people. Is that your dog in the background?
My dog is digging. It's all right.
Dig. I miss having a dog. Now, Joey, would you be happy without dogs? Like, if all your dogs died, do you think you'll get another one, or you'd be happy just being all by your lonesome?
I've said it before. This might be my last go at dogs. I don't know about that. I don't know. Ask me again another. My dogs are aging, and that's always a very difficult thing. And I have a weird mix because I have a very young dog who keeps the oldest like very, very active, more active than he should. So he keeps getting injured. It's a very interesting dynamic. So 2 older dogs and one kind of 2-year-old dog, and it's great, and it's also at the same time you see the cycle of life right before your eyes. It's magical in a way.
Magical.
With regards to my anger, and I go online, I guess, looking for a rage fix for people that I think are arrogant, myopic, and stupid. And I engage in battle with them, striving to give them a taste of their own medicine, just because I find their hypocrisy to be abusive and vile. And my main goal would be to just rattle their cage and tell them what a low-life scumbag I think that they are. And it probably doesn't do me any good.
Yeah.
You know what, Joey?
What?
Why don't you come on, Mirnan, why don't you, hold on. Why don't you click on our link and come on the screen instead of going here? You come in horrible here.
Okay, where's the link?
Let me give you a link, Mirny. Let me see here. Let me first of all get the link up. Doop. Invite. Here is your link. I sent you a link, Mirny.
Have you done
Now,
that?
yeah, as I was saying, it's kind of like I gotta, I think about this and I dwell on it. I know I shouldn't intellectually, but on an emotional level, it's like I got the progressive left has left a big boil on my anus, and I just have an urge to pop it, and it hasn't come to a head yet. And I just keep hoping that I will be able to pop that zit and get the pus out, because that's what I feel that they are. A big boil with a lot of pus.
You could use. I have a new tool that I created today while ripping up a floor, and I think you could use that even.
Maybe I can.
It's true.
Mirnan, do you have any comment on our culture war?
Yeah, fuck them assholes. You're right. Like, fuck them. We need free speech back.
We sure do. You don't have to go, you don't have to hang out with somebody you disagree with, but why shut them down and ruin the fun for everybody else? These are a bunch of party poopers. And I, for one, am sick of it.
Me too.
But, yeah. And I'm out here and just, you just see society, and you see the criminality and the degeneracy. Because I live in the big cities, and the behavior of certain people, the behavior that individuals from those groups get, and the thought process in their brain, their egocentric. I could call it. It's cluster B behavior. It certainly isn't diagnosing them with a cluster B personality disorder, but they certainly behave in that way. They believe in their victimhood mentality, and they believe that I am that I am the victim. I often feel that people are casting me. They're casting themselves as the victim and me as the victimizer. And I don't want to play their stupid role. And I see the progressive left promoting this ideology of victim, of victimhood, of victim and victimizer, and casting the roles already handmade. And
how is that manifesting in real life?
It manifests itself in different ways. I mean, it certainly manifested itself in the 2020 riots. It manifests itself if you get into an altercation with somebody and they film you and they are part of the protected class, you could get in trouble economically. So it does manifest itself. And again, we have to change our words. We used to call people homeless. Now they're called unhoused. And the people who have weaponized offense are winning, and they shouldn't. They are a drain on our cultural norms. And again, I see one group is the main group, and they could be stopped.
By the way, that word has not been mainstreamed by any man. I've never heard that word, and our place is completely littered with homeless.
Well, you don't work. Again, if you worked in certain departments, you would see.
But no, I get it. I get it. It's not mainstream, but I can see how that will spread through the communities pretty quickly.
The progressive left have. They have conquered. I mean, they have conquested, and during 2020, they have really showed their conquest through in many different ways, whether it's our churches having pride flags, and again, or whether it's whether how they frame stories, how they frame narratives, and not just in America. I believe throughout the Western world, these putrid people have taken over.
Churches with the flag are especially egregious because of the fact that they are absolutely excluding people when they include certain people. So I agree with that, but that's kind of I think that's still kind of, well, it's local enough.
There is, and again, these things were not up for discussion or debate. They just did it. And again, I guess these people are involved so they can get, and if you speak out against them, they will try to crush you. Joey, do you have anything to add? Because I'm going to play another little monologue. If anyone has anything to say before I play that monologue, and I might end the show rather early.
I've heard of these things. I'm curious if this has impacted your life specifically, maybe after this song.
Well, you know what? I'll draw that up. There are people who have called me names, and there are people who have threatened. When I spoke online, there were people who threatened where I work, and they threatened to come over to my place, and that's never happened before. And that to me, once that happened to me, I became extremely aware of what they're doing. And I want to point out their abuse. And I want, anyone who chooses, a lot of these people do this anonymously. You're not going to abuse me anonymously. You must come forward and say what you're going to do. And also, there was a group of Proud Boys that were prosecuted in New York by a group because they had an altercation with a group of Antifa members. And from my understanding, the group of Antifa members never testified, and the victims were not even named, but they were charged anyway. And I've never heard of
song.
All right, I'm going to play a song. Here we go. This is another spoken word, A Man Named Linwood.
A man named Linwood, a fervent follower of Neely Fuller Jr., a man who staked his life on the belief that white supremacy is the hidden engine of the world Linwood devours. Fuller's books and articles like their holy writ, trailing after them with the devotion of a fanatic, his mind locked in a cycle of obsession. But here's the catch, this isn't some noble pursuit of wisdom, it's a trap, a mental spiral where resentment festers, chaining the spirit to a story that distorts reality. Look closer, and the gulf between Neely Fuller Jr. and Linwood snaps into focus, as clear as a photograph split down the middle. Fuller's a lean, weathered figure, shaped by the Great Depression, a time when people ate from garbage cans, hunted rabbits, or went to bed with hunger clawing at their insides. A struggle in its rawest form, a fight for survival that leaves no room for pretense. Linwood, though, he's bloated, a child of excess, probably raised in a cushioned world where scarcity's just a word. One man was tempered by poverty's sharp edge, the other's drowning in gluttony, his battle self-made and inward. It's a stark divide. One's hardship was real, physical, a test of endurance. The other's is a mirage, a war waged against shadows of his own making. Fuller came up in an era where hunger wasn't a metaphor, it was a relentless, humbling force, not some petty grievance over a slight or an insult. Linwood's hunger, though, is different. It's a craving of the ego, a narcotic that keeps him hooked. It's the addiction to feeling wronged, the junkie's high master's moral clarity. He's caught in a loop, chasing a struggle that's less about the world and more about feeding his sense of self. Picture it, an endless oppression Olympics, where the only prize is another dose of outrage. In time, all that's left are others like him, fellow travelers strung out on the same delusion, scrambling for their fix of fabricated suffering, while the quiet, unvarnished truth drifts further out of sight.
resentment festers, chaining the spirit to a story that distorts reality. Look closer, and the gulf between me, Fuller Jr. and Linwood snaps into focus, as clear as a photograph split down the middle. Fuller's a lean, weathered figure, shaped by the Great Depression, a time when people ate from garbage cans, hunted rabbits, or went to bed with hunger clawing at their insides. That struggle in its rawest form, a fight for survival that leaves no room for pretense. Linwood, though, he's bloated, a child of excess, probably raised in a cushioned world where scarcity's just a word. One man was tempered by poverty's sharp edge, the other's drowning in gluttony, his battle self-made and inward. It's a stark divide. One's hardship was real, a test of endurance, others is a mirage, waged against shadows of his own making. Fuller came up in an era where hunger wasn't a metaphor. It was a relentless, humbling force, not some petty grievance over a slight or an insult. Linwood's hunger, though, is different. It's a craving of the ego.
How was the bolognese, Joey? Bolognese. How was the bolognese?
I would say it ranks up there, and I say buon gusto to the vendors. They were amazing. That place definitely has good bolognese. I would take you there if you ever traversed the valley again.
Have you ever now? There was an Italian restaurant where Robert Blake ate the night his wife was shot. Have you ever been there, Joey?
I think that's Vitello's. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. I think I've been there. I know where it is. I've driven by. I'm not sure. It's in Studio City.
Do you think they have a Bobby Blake special?
If it does, it's half off.
You know what they should just call it? A Little Rascal. You know Bobby Blake was a little rascal.
I do. But 99.9 of anyone who's listened tonight probably does not know that.
Probably not, and they may not even know who the Little Rascals was. By the way, I was really disappointed in the Little Rascals movie. I would have preferred it to be a period piece, or at least shot in more of rural America, because that was the charm of the Little Rascals. It was shot on the back lots of in Hal Roach Studio, and it was largely and in parts of L.A. and West Los Angeles, when it was primarily rural, and a lot of it was rural, and I didn't like what they did.
Back then, you'd have to go back to Sanford and Son to get anything good.
Well, you don't have to shoot it in L.A., and there are. I mean, you could make it more of a rural type of thing, and I would have preferred it to be a period piece. It should have been shot in the 1930s instead of modern day.
There's an incredible series. I will never remember the name of it, but it was based on a Marvel character, and they did like the whole retro thing and it looked kind of Valley-ish or almost Brady Bunch-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name of it. I'll have to look it up, but it's a great. That was, as I recall, really, really good series.
Now,
or if anybody's listening and knows the name of it, why don't you post it? Yeah. Comment.
By the way, the Little Rascal that
hi, Mirn.
Mirn, did you ever watch, or do you still ever watch the Little Rascals?
I watched the movie a few times when I was a kid.
I didn't like the movie, but as far as the series, The Little Rascals, my favorite one was with Jackie Cooper and Chubsy Ubsy. And I don't know if that would still make me laugh today, but Jackie Cooper was a really funny actor, and then Chubsy Ubsy. And they're both trying to go after their teacher, Miss Crabtree.
Crab Eye.
No, her name was
No.
Crabtree, not Crab.
My bad.
Yeah. Now, Joey, were you a fan of the Three Stooges?
I was. Yeah. Was it Larry, Moe, and Curly?
I mean, and there was Shemp.
And Shemp.
And some other clowns.
I mean, right. So many. The Marx Brothers, not as the Marx Brothers. Honestly, were just too old for me. Like I didn't quite get it. But then when I was older and I'd already fallen for all the mainstreamy, the newer stuff, even Laurel and Hardy. But then I went backwards and saw like, oh wow, okay, it's like a whole history of that kind of dynamic.
Did you ever watch W.C. Fields?
Of course. My dad's a pervert. Of course I know W.C. Fields. Almost personally.
My Little Chickadee. And I don't want to say that the old films were better. Movies have always censored the truth. Whether it is...
They've also told the truth.
They've also told the truth, but on average, they deal in myth making.
Well, I think right. I think the lie is, is what's not said, and so
here's the deal: whether it's liberals or conservatives, who's ever in charge is going to lie. Now, political correctness is so large that it will lie. Even conservatives will. There are subjects they will not touch, and it's gotten worse today. Hopefully, we can break through that and just have basic, fundamental reality, or at least some form of truth and reality. And sometimes they do. I felt that the movie Hombre was a rather truthful film. Would you agree with that, Joey?
Well, I have mixed feelings about agreeing with that, so I won't. I think the whole idea of how the West was won was a story. So that's maybe a pen stroke higher than that script. But if you go by the script, it's a pretty damn honest movie.
Yeah. As far as human relationships go, I certainly felt that it was. But then again,
absolutely. I mean, there is, but so many movies. Even if you look at Casablanca, you just get lost in the minutia of it to really. It takes so many. I never got that movie. I never liked it, and then one day I did, and so there's a lot of interesting things that happen during the course of a life to a movie.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as we grow older, there are films that we had fondness for that we no longer have fondness, and there are films that we didn't like as kids, and as we've grown to be adults, we like them. I mean, and we understand them because we've lived a little bit and grown a little bit. Now, I'm going to get myself to bed. Joey, is there anything to add before I call this show a day?
Well, let's ask Mirnin.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I zoned out for a bit.
There we go. Zoned out. I zone out too. But you know something. I'm just going to bloviate here on the sky, the wind.
I'm autistically kittyful.
There we go. And I'm striving to take the elements. I do fast. I battle with I battle with my hunger.
Oh yeah, we all do that.
We all do that, and that helps me deal with my anger and my other emotions.
We also deal with our hunger. I don't know why hunger is such an issue. To me, it's about eating. I don't know why everyone's so hungry.
You know what?
Yeah, don't they know that food is for eating?
That's correct. Food is for eating. But like anything, it can be abused. Food can be abused. Words can be abused.
I would like some bangers and hash, wouldn't you?
No. All right. With that being said, I'm going to play a little song, our favorite, which is Dick's Hanley.
Dick's Hanley.
Dick's Mirnan.
Dance.
Where is Dick's Hanley? I'm looking for him now. La la la, la la la, Grandpa.
He sees Dick's and he gets Handley.
That's correct. Let's see. Still Battle of Battle of Southern Manga Civil War, the Battle of Judge Holden.
What?
Nash, Patrick Murphy. I'm looking at all of the songs here.
You're having a Biden moment.
I'm having a Biden moment. All right. This song is Mearden and Joey's favorite song. It is the Battle of Dick's Hanley. It is from the film The Asphalt Jungle, starring Sterling Hayden and directed by the great John Huston.
In a dusty old town where the sun don't set, lived a man named Dix, full of dreams unmet, with a heart full of hustle and a past so wild. He played his cards close like a lonesome child, a hand always gripping, never one to fold. Dix Handley sought fortune more precious than gold. In the asphalt jungle where shadows did creep, he planned his one score before he'd find sleep. Oh, Dix knew the stakes, danced with danger's thrill, with a dream in his heart and ironclad will. Just one more heist, then he'd be free, in the heart of the city where he aimed to be. He gathered his crew, in a smoky room, with eyes on a prize that would seal his doom. A plan so tight, not a detail amiss, but the jungle's claws gripped through the mist.
My hand's so tight. Like this.
The night fell hard, and the city stood still. Dix moved in the shadows, chasing the thrill. A bag full of riches, so close in his hand, but freedom slips away like grains of sand. Oh, Dix knew the stakes, danced with danger's thrill, with a dream in his heart and ironclad will. Just one more heist, then he'd be free. In the heart of the city, where he aimed to be.
Any last words?
That
He
was such a
got a
great
family
tune,
with
dude.
the wieners.
Yeah,
Wow.
here we go.
Wow. That is a great tune. And, you know, that has some legs.
Just one
I
more
like
line.
the part about his tight grip on the shaft.
And his hands, I got.
Marion, you're gonna go in the kitty box. So again, we are at least I am hoping that I gather my troops and we resist these monstrous egotists that have
It is me in the culture war, after all.
that it has been taking over my culture, my way of life. And I think there are lots of people that think like me and are disgusted by these group of midwits. And I wish you all the best. Guys, if you can, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thank you for listening.